Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and begin with our post-race media availabilities. We're now joined by our race-winning owner, Justin Marks. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We will get a mic over to you. We'll start here in the middle with Zach.
Second Tansvede, KingofTires.net. Looking back at this weekend, of course you haven't had that much time to look back yet, but from Shane and Connor's battle yesterday to Connor's injury and now Shane ending the weekend with the win, how do you think you're going to look back on this weekend with how much everybody has learned and kind of grown together in many different ways?
Well, very, very eventful weekend, that's for sure. Some pretty high moments, and then obviously a tough one last night. But I think you look back on weekends like this, and it's just like why we're doing it. This is why we're focused and working so hard in the race shop, because we feel like we have a tremendous opportunity with Shane. We have a tremendous opportunity with Daniel and with Ross, and then obviously with Connor coming up. So you look back and you go, we recognized incredible talent with Connor and made a commitment to him and helped him get in an opportunity to be able to showcase his talent. He did that yesterday, and then today Shane just continues to go, showcase why we've made a long-term commitment to him, why we brought him over here from New Zealand and built this team around him. Because in a sport like this where winning is so important and it's so hard to do, if you can catch some lightning in a bottle like we've got with SVG, you got to really lean into it. And so that's what we've done. And it's you look at sort of the weekend, and it's kind of like seeing a plan come together.
Was it important for Connor to come to the track today?
I think it was important for him. I think that he doesn't want to be away. He wants to be at the racetrack. His whole life is about being a race car driver, and I think that for a guy like Connor, he's even if he's not in the race car today and he's not feeling that well, he feels like there's an opportunity always to learn something. So he sat in the bus with me today, and we were watching timing and scoring together, and I think he wanted to just show the fans and show the sport that he was upright and he was okay, and that he's committed and he really wants to get back as fast as he can. So I'm glad that he came today and showed that he's a part of this company.
We'll come down here to Dustin.
Dustin Alvino, J-Ski. Justin, with how many playoff points SVG has kind of built up, how does that kind of change the outlook for him going into the playoffs now?
Well, I don't know if it changes as much as it sort of develops kind of the thought around, if we can actually win as many of these road course races as we think we can win, which we've done, the hope is that accumulates enough playoff points that as his oval learning continues to get better, we go into the playoffs in that first round where, we've got a lot of points in the bank. He's in a really good position, and he can get through those three, fairly difficult oval races in a competitive fashion and get ourselves to the round of 12, where there's another road course, another opportunity to punch his ticket to the round of 8. And so, that being able to go to the road courses and win like this is a really great sort of support mechanism for his development on the ovals as we chase the points championship. So I'm very encouraged by his rate of learning on the ovals. I think he's only just begun to start to put it together. I think the ceiling is really high for him, and he's here for a while, so there's not going to be a ton of pressure on him this year. It's going to be like go into the playoffs and learn about how things start to change in the playoffs, how teams race each other, how drivers race each other, how important points are, how you're kind of always looking at the cut line in the next round, and that's going to be another great experience for him. So, I think we've got I think we have a real opportunity to get to the round of 8, and either way, it'll be a great learning experience for him, and get him prepared for making a deeper run year after year. Thanks.
We'll go over here to the left to Chris.
Chris9Kitchens.com. Justin, outside of Connor's misfortune, it was a strong day for Team Trackhouse with 3 cars in the top 10. How important is that for the organization, knowing everything that's been going on this season?
Yeah, I think it's important because we're doing a lot inside the company right now. As I talked about a little bit yesterday morning, we're doing a lot inside the company right now to start sort of building what the next iteration of this business looks like and getting ourselves into championship, contending form. I think as we go through the audit process of the company and we identify where there's opportunities for growth and where, how we get organized for the future and for development, as people start to get excited about what the future might look like, and then you go to the racetrack and you win and you put 3 in the top 10, it just fuels that fire, and it just gets people more and more excited about digging in, sharing their thoughts inside the race shop about how things could be better, more efficient, more competitive, and it keeps the mood great, keeps the mood high, everybody excited to come into work, and that's what we need as we start to determine what sort of, the next age of the company looks like, which is one that, in which our goal is to win a NASCAR Cup Series championship.
there any other questions? We'll come down here to Nathan.
Nathan Selman, NASCAR.com. Justin, with Shane being the first rookie to ever achieve 4 wins in his first season, just have you had any time to absorb that and kind of take that in with the greatness that he's been on in this tear on the road courses lately?
It's hard to, because it's like what he's doing right now is sort of why he's in the car, because we feel like we had an opportunity to do this. But when these wins just keep coming in the way that they are, and the fact that the rest of the series, the rest of the drivers are watching him and getting better, but he's getting better too, and it just seems like they just can't do anything with him right now. It's just this amazing thing to watch. I forgot your question. I was thinking it's hard to absorb, because like I said, seeing it actually happen and seeing how the industry responds, and as we kind of prepare through the week and we look at the race, and you never want to take anything for granted. You never want to go into a race weekend like thinking that it's easy or that you're going to win or something like that, because it's so difficult to do it. But to watch him continue to execute at such a high level is why we've made a big commitment to him, and why he's in this race car. And I think I'm excited for the sponsors and for Chevrolet, because we had to sell it into them, and we really, it wasn't just us. I mean, we had to get a lot of people to come and support it, and we got in front of them and said, look, this is what we think is possible. So seeing it come together is it's a great story for our business and great for our partners, and it's going to be hard to really understand the gravity of it until we are removed from it for some time. Right now, we're just enjoying it.
Also, to follow up quick, with the mistake he made last year here at Watkins Glen, and obviously 1-2 again between him and Busch, what was his mindset and approach coming into this week? Was it any different knowing that he had made that mistake last year and wanting to avenge that?
I think as an athlete, it's hard to ignore those thoughts. I mean, I think that one he kicked himself pretty hard last year for that one. I really feel like he gave that one away, and I think it's sort of sat with him for a long time. I don't necessarily think it changes his approach. I mean, it was one corner, one moment, one tiny little mistake. It wasn't anything bigger than that. So we didn't need to like approach the weekend any different. I think he'll sit here and tell you the same thing, that it's not really on his mind. He gets in the race car, and no matter what has happened at that racetrack or against that driver in the past, it's all about just sort of winning in this moment, doing the best in this moment. So I mean, there's been some talk about it, obviously, because he's done media around it this weekend and everything, and that one stings. I think maybe there's some extra motivation, but at the end of the day, the bigger picture is just winning a cup race anywhere and against anybody.
Come down here to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Forgive me if this has been asked since I just came in, but in regards to Connor, I know ultimately it's going to be what doctors say, but is there any reason that he would need to run the next 3 races in the Xfinity Series and just heal up and get ready for the playoffs? Because you're talking about, your major asset, a 19-year-old superstar in the making, and nothing against anybody competing in the series, but those 3 races from his point of view can be viewed as meaningless. I'm just curious about how you decide, other than the doctors, in allowing him to run before the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a discussion that we all have to have. I mean, we haven't really talked about much, obviously, since yesterday, but in the little bit that we've discussed in some of the quiet moments of the last 24 hours, it's going to have to be a group decision. I mean, it's going to have to be sponsors, Chevrolet, the team, looking for taking care of his development, taking care of him as a human and as an athlete, and then keeping his motivations high and making sure that he knows that he's got a group of people behind him that are supportive of him. So I think it'll be a group decision. I mean, he's a competitor, so he's already looking at the regular season championship and going, man, if I can, maybe somebody can get in the car, I can take the green flag at the next race and then get out of the car. Like, how do we do? It's just so fresh right now. But I think it's an important question, because he's a huge asset and he's a huge part of the future of the business. And so we have to approach that as such and make sure that we're not hurting any long-term opportunities by taking taking advantage of a short-term opportunity. So that's kind of a long-winded way of saying that we have to just sit down as a group and decide what's best, and with JRM also.
And what was how did you come to the conclusion of withdrawing the car today? You already had the crew and everybody here. I didn't know if it was a sponsor thing as opposed to more you, because it would be another opportunity for all those people to get reps in that situation.
Sort of yes, kind of all of the above. I mean, that program and what we've built around that 87 car this year is really about Connor, and it's about getting Connor seat time in the Cup Series and starting to prepare for his future. And and I think we talked about some different scenarios, but I think at the end of the day, Red Bull speaks loudly. They're the one that's paying the bill, and we all kind of just powwowed late last night to talk about it, and ultimately just because of the relationships with the partners, because that program's about Connor. Just I think the best thing was to not sort of like dilute that program and that sponsorship and Connor as an athlete by putting somebody else in the car. So it's just, and I left my helmet at home.
All right, Justin, thank you for your time and congratulations again.